This is the most profitable era in the history of the Provincial Council. What is the profit? Due to the Provincial Councils, 28 crores of rupees have been added to the total national income. The country's people get an income of more than 300 crore rupees annually because of non-operating provincial councils. Provincial councils are a mess. This unnecessary governance feature must be abolished.
The Provincial Council system was established after the Indo-Lanka Accord in 1987. The 13th Amendment to the Constitution was introduced, along with laws, to set up provincial councils in Sri Lanka. To implement the above, the government followed a two-step process. 1. Enabling enactment to the Parliament. In Sri Lanka, being a dualist country, local legislation is needed to give legal effect to agreements made by the executive internationally. Hence, the 13th Amendment to the Sri Lankan Constitution was enacted in 1987. 2. Parliamentary Bill. The Parliament introduced the Provincial Councils Act No. 42 of 1987, which contains provisions related to the structures, processes, and procedures of the Provincial Council system as outlined in the 13th Amendment. This two-step process made the 13th Amendment an integral part of the Constitution, establishing the Provincial Council system as the second tier of governance in Sri Lanka since 1988. Because of these changes, the 13th Amendment is now a crucial part of our Constitution. This made the Provincial Council (PC) system an official part of our governance since 1988. The PC system was introduced to meet the long-standing demand for power sharing. Since its introduction, it's been seen as a necessary tool for essential devolved power, even outside the North and East Provincial Councils. Chief Ministers have requested more powers for local areas. To make the PC system a high-quality second tier of governance in Sri Lanka, it needs further strengthening. Unlike in India, many in the Sinhalese community are hesitant to decentralize power beyond the periphery. Also, most ethnic communities are reluctant to extend power beyond district boundaries to create a devolved unit at the provincial level. Despite this reluctance, giving more power to provincial units seems to be the practical way to meet the demands of minority groups and ensure development based on the right to development in Sri Lanka's multi-ethnic society. The main concern of the majority community in Sri Lanka about going beyond decentralized power is the fear that a full power-sharing model, where a province is governed by numerical minority communities, could lead to separation. Past governments have made many unsuccessful attempts at power-sharing models, and existing agreements have often not been put into practice. Various methods by successive governments have limited the powers of these arrangements, highlighting these challenges. Over the last 3 decades, the Provincial Council (PC) system in Sri Lanka hasn't threatened the country's unity, but it also hasn't met the initial expectations for devolving powers to the province. Criticism, restrictions, and obstacles in implementing the PC system reflect the same concerns and fears mentioned earlier. Despite past failures, having a devolved structure is seen as positive progress in the journey of power sharing. This existing system is firmly part of Sri Lanka's governance, eliminating the need for something entirely new. This evolving system can be improved through proactive engagement to create a meaningful power-sharing model that meets the needs for the devolution of power in Sri Lanka. In this process, the crucial part is to balance the political aspirations of the Tamils, Muslims, and Hill Country Tamils while addressing the concerns and fears of the majority community. To achieve this, proposed changes must show people that the current Provincial Council (PC) system isn't destined to fail, but is a better political mechanism to address the needs, concerns, and fears of all communities in the country. Some critics suggest getting rid of the PC system isn't the solution now. Introducing a new power-sharing model through a constitutional amendment, given the challenging political climate, would be a difficult experiment. It could lead to another opening of a Pandora's box, with more problems rather than success in creating a meaningful power-sharing model. The current PC system is an extension of the executive presidential system to the periphery. It's a unique model where the executive delegates power to the province through statutes. In practical terms, the governor takes on roles like the chief executive, finance minister, and chief development administrator. This means the chief minister, board of ministers, and the council have limited roles in provincial political and development administration. Nonetheless, irrespective of these inherent setbacks in the structural formation of the provincial council system, still it can be contended that there is still room to improve the system, instead of throwing the baby with the bathwater, as it were.